Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Coffee Talk. I'm glad to have you all here this morning for this special Thursday edition. We are going to be getting into all things real estate in a moment, but first, I want to make sure everyone has signed up for the Matt Weaver winning seminar tomorrow at the Marriott in Boca. This is there. I got an email this morning saying there are 15 seats left. That was as of 8:05 this morning. So whether those 15 seats are still available, who knows? If you haven't signed up, it could sell out. So make sure to get over to the website and get signed in. Look, all you have to do is go to our Facebook agent page. Scroll down a little bit. You'll see the promo on that Facebook page. Click on it. It'll take you right to the Eventbrite where you can sign up. So do it. Get signed up. It's a full day event tomorrow, and it starts at 9 o'clock sharp. So they're saying get there at 8 or 8:15, and you can network and do whatever. But the event starts 9 o'clock sharp. So I'll look forward to seeing everyone there. If possible, it would be nice for all of us to be able to sit together, but there's no guarantees we'll be able to put that all together. Not really knowing how large this event is going to be. So be sure to sign up for that. Next thing I wanted to bring up is leads. I've had some system problems with getting the leads to directly import into Chime. They appear to be having that problem corrected. I've started to see a few land in there. I also changed some things on my end so that the leads are coming into my email box. And Tina and John, this might be where we had some duplication because I've gone through trying to make sure I'm passing those leads out one at a time. But there's definitely a possibility where they'll come in twice and I can send them to two different agents. So I apologize for that, but it can happen. And I'll do my best to see that we don't run into that problem again. Not lastly, do you have your Chime set up? Do you have your bio and your picture and everything set up, your URL being directed to your Chime website? If not, give me a call and make some time. We can do it via Zoom or we can do it in the office. But this is something that you need to have set up. It's an incredible marketing tool that you should be using. And I'm here to help make sure you're getting the opportunity to use it and getting the most out of it. So getting it set up initially correctly is very important to making it a productive tool. So be sure to contact me if you haven't set that up yet. I wanted to mention a conversation I had with Tina last night where I think it finally clicked. And I love this when it happens, that one of the opportunities we have here is to sponsor new agents. And it's a great opportunity where you can focus your business around bringing new agents into the company. It benefits the company greatly, but it also benefits you greatly. Think about it like this. If you want to take some money and invest in a property and get your broker's license and buy the insurances and do everything else it takes to be a broker, you can do that. And then you'll start making money off of the agents who work for your brokerage. Sounds like a lot of work. Well, with Exit Realty and Exit Realty Partners, you don't have to go through any of that. All you have to do is make an introduction from one agent to our organization, or to any of the 550 exit offices in the United States. All you have to do is make the connection and you start benefiting the same way a broker benefits, but you don't have to go through all the hoops and make all the investments that a broker has to make to do those things. To make 10% on another agent up to $10,000 or 100 grand in gross commissions, that's an incredible business opportunity. I mean, I think some people will finally get one and then they realize, oh my gosh, this thing is fantastic. But it's a great way to build a business. You can focus solely on recruiting, bringing people into our office, especially we love the people coming into our office. And then you can decide what you want your role to be with these people. Maybe it's none at all, or maybe it's a great opportunity for you to start developing your coaching and mentoring skills. So you can really build a business where you're not out chasing rentals, but you're actually encouraging others to go chase those rentals and you benefit from it. It's literally like owning your own business. I can't talk enough about how the passive income is such a powerful thing that you can generate. Like I said, most people, to develop passive income, you have to make big investments like you're buying rental properties, or you have to start your own business and hire management for it, which are large undertakings. Why not try something very simple and straightforward? You meet agents every day in the field, introduce them to our company. Some of them aren't happy where they're at. You know, a lot of people join with Keller Williams and Century 21 and they think it's all this, great things that they talk about in their meetings. And once they get in, they realize there's a lot of smoke and mirrors and a lot of cost. So that is the best time. Well, one of the best times that you can talk to somebody and say, hey, why don't you come over and talk to us and see what we have to offer? Because what we've got to offer is a very strong product offering between our trainings and office support and the tools that we provide to our agents. It's hard to find an opportunity like this anywhere else. So please take advantage of this opportunity that everyone has. And the conversation I had with Tina, where she's now going to be getting into creating Join Me at Exit Realty promotions that she'll be doing on social media. We obviously will be helping with that. We're happy to do that with all of our agents. And it can go further depending on if you want to make financial investments into it by putting sponsoring ads through the Exit Ad Center, which is another great way to generate interest in sponsorship and bringing on new agents. So I just wanted to make the point about that. Again, it was wonderful to hear Tina talking about that yesterday. It was like music to my ears. So very happy with that. And I'm sure by beginning of next week, we'll have things rocking and rolling for you, Tina, on that. I just mentioned the Ad Center from Exit, an incredible tool. We need to be using this to generate buyer leads. You can use it for generating seller leads, recruiting. You can use it to drive traffic to your website. So it's an incredible tool that you should be taking advantage of. Very affordable and very effective. So you can get leads generated in the $3 to $6 a lead range, depending on what's going on and how you've got it marketed. So again, a great opportunity to develop your own buyer leads, your own seller leads, and generating traffic into your website. Fantastic way to do that. All right, so let me get started with my presentation here. Let me share my screen. We talked about it last week that the way this market is, it's becoming very difficult to predict what's going to be happening fourth quarter and into the next year, primarily because last year was such an anomaly where we had the huge fall off in business and then the huge pickup in business. And again, we went through this all last week, so I'm not getting into too much of what we've already discussed, but it is making it difficult for the economists to say, well, we think this is the trend. This is because the trends are not present at the moment. So there's a lot of concern now with what are the things that are going to be affecting the business. So as we discussed last week, and as everyone knows, pricing has been going up. Listings are minimal. There are few listings to pick from comparatively year over year. And interest rates are extremely low. And these factors will ultimately affect the pricing as we go into the remainder of this year, fourth quarter, and then into 2022. So I want to start off, Sam Cater from the Freddie Mac, with his statement. Mortgage rates rose across all loan types this week as the 10-year U.S. Treasury yield reached its highest point since June. Many factors led to this increase, including the Federal Reserve communicating that it will taper its support of the capital markets, the broadening of inflation and emerging energy supply shortages, which compound other labor and material shortages. All right, so I follow interest rates every week. We have seen interest rates starting to tick up. I watch the actual mortgage rates, but the leading indicator for mortgage rates, generally speaking, is the 10-year Treasury bond, which has been rising. So again, let me jump to the next slide. So where we're at with mortgage rates, if you look from January of 2020 to today, we're sitting here fretting over the fact that interest rates may have gone from 3% to 3.125%, 3.125. So when we put some context around this, January of 2020, we were at 3.75% interest. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us thought that that was rock bottom, dirt cheap interest rates through the pandemic and the changes that the Fed undertook to support the economy when they saw the economy was faltering because of lockdowns and everything else with COVID. They loosened their monetary policy. They pushed money out into the field, buying mortgage-backed securities and other things, driving those interest rates down to keep the money moving, to keep the economy churning. So then again, as you're looking at this chart, you'll see that around, the earlier in this year, April, it seemed like we were starting to come out of the pandemic, the lockdowns were really starting to loosen up. The Fed started raising the interest rates again, and mortgage rates started, bond rates started to go up, which ultimately started to push mortgage rates up. Then we kind of saw the Delta variant kick in. The Fed then again decided to remain loose with their money, and the interest rates dropped somewhat, bringing us down to where we are today. And we've seen lower than where we're at today. But so looking at this particular chart, they're showing, today we're at 3.01%. And now, again, I really like to put that into context. So historical interest rates by decade. Some of us are old enough to remember when interest rates were 12.7% in the early 80s and through most of the 80s. I remember it was about 87 or 88 when my brother had bought a house in Michigan. And I remember he got his mortgage for 11% and he was happy with that. That's where interest rates were. And we've seen a steady decline in interest rates over the decades, getting into the 2010s where we're seeing average rates around 4%. Again, now these are quite low if you look at the big historical picture. But when you're looking at even where we're at between 2010 and now, to be under 3% or right about 3%, I've said it in last week's meeting, I'll say it again in this one, interest rates don't have any direction to go really but up. So the question isn't if they'll go up, it's a question of when. So we know there will be upward pressure on interest rates. And again, that's not always a bad thing. The interest rates rise because theoretically the economy is doing better, incomes are doing better, the economy can theoretically support the higher interest rates, and that's why they rise. So we will see a rise in interest rates. It's a question of when. So now I'm going to jump over to the other question in my presentation about where the price of homes are. So this comes from Bill McBride. He runs a blog called Calculated Risk. And he's saying, my sense is the Case-Shiller National Annual Growth Rate of 19.7% is probably close to a peak, and that year over year price increases will slow later this year. So not staying on that, year over year home appreciation as of July, this is the latest numbers that we've got, showing the FHFA, their index showing a 19.2% price increase year over year. 18% from CoreLogic, 19.7% from Case-Shiller. So we are looking at theoretically around 15 to 20% annual growth in pricing year over year. So how can this be maintained? We can't have prices continue to increase at a rate of 20% a year. A home that I bought for $500,000 this year is worth $600,000 a year later. It's unsustainable, but it's understandable because currently we've got a situation where housing is underbuilt and there's a large pent-up demand. And let's face it, interest rates are dirt cheap. And now this home year over year house appreciation number, it's pretty much nationwide. So you're looking at 4 regions that happen to have 20% plus. So again, the previous slide has national numbers, and here's us breaking this out by region. Notice the last one on the right, South Atlantic, that be us, 20.2% when you're looking at year over year as of July. So the question is, how is this sustainable? And the reality is it's probably not. So going back to that first slide where we're saying that, the Case-Shiller index of 19.7 is probably the peak. And I would tend to agree with that. And most of what I'm reading would tend to agree with that as well. So let's talk about this Ivy Zellman quote. Closings are set to decline roughly 10% year over year in the second half of 2020, and home price appreciation is on the cusp of flipping to a decelerating trend. So, without some context, this statement can actually sound kind of scary. Okay, sales are going to fall off and prices are going to drop. Well, that's not exactly what it's saying. We have been running at a record pace of increasing prices. And at some point in time, that increasing rate has to slow down. And they believe, and I think rightly so, that through July of this year, we probably have seen the peak of that rising price point as far as the speed at which it's appreciating. But then we start looking at going through to the future. And again, let me back up and put a little context on home appreciation. If you go back over the last 20 years and look at what average home appreciation is year over year, you're typically looking between 3 and 5%. So the fact that we've somehow managed to get up to almost 20%, or in some cases greater than that, it's unbelievable and obviously unsustainable. So ultimately, we will see our market go back to something closer to that. And as it decelerates through the course of this year, we're going to see the total price performance, estimated home price performance for year over year. I think when we get down to the end of the year, we're going to be seeing something more like 11% will be the net number for the year of 2021. But again, I bought a house for $500,000. I can sell it for $555,000 today in 1 year. That's huge. That's absolutely huge. So again, these kind of price appreciation is not sustainable. So the experts, this is actually coming from Pulseonomics. Really? That's where I got that one from. Okay, so this is now showing this is what expectations are going forward. So they're looking at 2021 will end the year around 11% growth, and then 22 about 5 to 6%, and as we get to 23 to 25, we're still seeing 3 to 5%, 3 to 4% price appreciation. And so now let's kind of ball this up into something that we can use to tell our customers why this is actually still a great time to buy a home. So if we're looking at 11.74% for a 2021 expected home appreciation, and then we take an average of 5.7 for the remaining years through 2025, you've got a home that in 5 years appreciated 30%. Nowhere in any of these slides do I see prices going down. So I just want to be clear on this. When I'm saying that the increase is going to be going down, it's true. Houses, instead of going from 500 to 550 in a short period of time, are going to go from 500 to 510 or 500 to 520, 515 if it's 3%, 520 if it's 4%. So this is a more normal appreciation cycle that we will be working back to. What happened last year really threw a lot of things into chaos. And as we are moving forward, we're starting to see them come back to some level of normalcy. The bottom line is there's no predictions of anybody having depreciation and pricing over the upcoming year. The foreclosure crisis that never happened has seemed to move past us. That hasn't had a negative effect on home prices like it did in 2008. And the demand is still very, very strong. So we're going to continue to see the home buying business stay strong. We're going to see appreciation for those buyers. Interest rates remain low. The real keys that we got to be on guard for is that rising interest rates will be one of the things that slows things down even more. So while interest rates are low, now is still a great time to buy a home. So this is the message we need to be getting out to our customers. If you have any questions or want a copy of any of these slides, please let me know. I have them available for you. So again, I touched on interest rates, and I like it because the news stories, and I've read one in the Wall Street Journal and I'm seeing them in other places, are talking about, oh, all this increase in interest rates and this and that. So I track interest rates week over week. I'm almost like one of these indexes. So currently, as of this morning, 0 point mortgage for the best qualified with 20% down, 30 years at 3.124, 3 1/8. If you're looking for a 15-year, 2.25% interest. How does that compare? Well, goes against everything I just said, but it's down 1/8 of a point from last week, which was up 1/4 of a point from the week before. So we're still right at the bottom. Things are sort of bouncing around here on that 3%. We're 3 1/8 today. 2 weeks ago, we were at 3%. We were at 3 1/4 last week. So we're still in the low threes on a 30-year. And we were down 1/8 of a point on the 15-year as well. So interest rates, I think the best way to take it is interest rates are historically low. Their only direction that they can go is up. Take advantage of it. Pricing is not as much of a factor as interest rates are when you look at the long-term effect of making a payment to buy a house. If you're a cash buyer, forget everything I said about interest rates because you don't care. But most of our buyers are not cash buyers. So moving on, I just wanted to say, check your RAPB website for webinars. I went in and looked today. They are starting to get back to more in-person classes, which I think is fantastic. I mean, it's a great opportunity. You can network a little bit. And they hold them. They've got offices all over the place. So you go find the office that's nearest to you and sign up for the class that seems most appropriate. Some of these are CE classes. Some of them are just general information. And they still have a lot of webinars on there to check out. So be sure to go there and check out their calendar. Also, I wanted to point out Exit is having their agent webinar Wednesday, the 13th at noon. You will receive an email from Exit on this. I just like to promote it. This is part of their Champions series. They're going to be talking with, see if I don't destroy his name here, Gregory Virganov, who is their Titanium Award winner. This guy knows how to put numbers on the board. Definitely interested to hearing what he has to say and how he works. Anyone who can put these kind of numbers on the boards deserves to have your attention given to him to see what's working so well for him. Couple more things. One, a reminder tomorrow, winning presented by Matt Weaver's team at Cross Country Mortgage. Be sure to sign up if you haven't signed up. Spaces are limited. It may be sold out already. I don't know. I haven't confirmed that, but get in there and check it out. Next week, Thursday, and again, I'll do more announcements on this. Next week, Thursday, we are going to be doing I'm going to say it's in person. I might try to do it as a dual presentation. The 2022 business planning meeting. This is very important for everyone. This is where we sit down and we lay out our direction for the upcoming year. We make out our business plan. We decide how we're going to market and present ourselves. We determine where we're going to hunt for our business and how we're going to go get it. So again, very important to get this done now. You don't want January 2nd to come rolling around. You're like, yeah, it's a new year. Maybe I should think of a way to make some money this year. No. Get ahead of it. Get in here. Next week, Thursday, the 14th at 11 a.m. in the office. So I will look forward to seeing everyone there. And I'll decide whether or not I'm going to do it as a Zoom meeting Monday, because I prefer to have everyone in for this. This is a better opportunity to really work in a workshop type environment to get the plan set up for next year. Lastly, please be sure to join me next week, Friday, for Coffee Talk, where I try to do my best to provide you with the answers to the questions people are going to ask you while you're out in the field. So I think this is really important to be a part of. I'm glad everybody takes the time to join me for this. I appreciate that. And I hope you find value in what I'm presenting to you. So now I have to sit here for 20 seconds so that I can end this recording and put an end slide on it in my All right, hold on. Let's see if I got the right music for it. No, that's not it. All right, never mind. No, I can't get it to turn up. No. There we go. I was trying to play the Jeopardy theme song, but it didn't work. Wah, wah, wah. All right.